to upon further review week one edition. We are brought to you by Conlon Parker, Troy Allen, Chevrolet Buick GMC, and also by Penn United Technologies and the Butler Health Systems. And my name is John Enrietto. I'm the sports editor of the Butler Eagle. I'm flanked on my left here by sports writer Mike Kilroy, and on my right by Derek Pyda, another Butler Eagle sports writer. And gentlemen, week 0 is in the books. And gentlemen, week 0 is in the books. And some surprises, but maybe from Mr. Kilroy's vantage point, not too many surprises, because they're all over it. Mike was correct on 9 of his 10 games predicted last week.
9 out of 10. I'll take it, 90%.
The only game he lost was
His completion percentage.
the game that everybody lost, the Cannon Montauk game. That's my biggest takeaway from week 1 is Montauk going up there with 28 players dressing and coming away with a victory, a very tough place to play. The key thing is, with 28 players dressing, as the season goes on, they're going to have some big injuries, and there might be a depth problem for Montauk down the road. But right now, we're off to a great start. Big one in Cannon.
I'll tell you what, and you look at how they won that game. I mean, Montauk's up 14-7. They're looking to put the game away on a short field goal attempt. Kick is blocked. The King player runs it back, 80-some yards for a touchdown. Looks like the game's going to slip away, but then Montauk regathers itself, regains composure, and stops a 2-point conversion and wins the ball game.
Yeah, they were actually going to go for the extra point originally, but on the extra point attempt, Montauk was called for an encroachment.
Right.
So that pushed the ball to 1, and that made Kane think, hey, we only got a yard to get 2 points. They tried for it. They actually tried to pass, not a run. They had to actually try to pass, and Montauk stopped it. And so Montauk was able to come back down home with a victory.
Mike, other than the Montauk King game, which surprised everybody, what surprised you the most about week 0?
What surprised me most was Butler. I thought they would put up a better showing at North Hills. I thought they would make that somewhat competitive.
Mm-hmm.
But they got, unfortunately, they didn't have a very good night. So I was really hoping that this would be the beginning of a step forward. Now, it's still a long season. It's week 0. A lot of things can happen. But, that was a little disheartening, I guess you could say.
Well, I was at that Butler game, and really could not have started out worse for the Golden Tornado. They get the opening kickoff. They go 3 and out. They're back to punt. The snap rolls back to the punter. It's bouncing around on the artificial turf. Punter couldn't handle the ball. While he's trying to scoop it up, he gets hit and dropped at about the 10-yard line. Then he gets up and in frustration just takes the ball and sends it to the turf. He gets a unsportsmanlike penalty call. Now it's on the 5-yard line, so less than 2 minutes into that ball game. North Hills has the first down on Butler's 5, and they scored 2 plays later. And Butler just couldn't get out of its own way in the first half. They couldn't cross I think they crossed midfield twice, never crossed North Hills 40. And North Hills started, I think, the first 5 possessions, maybe 6 in the Butler airport. So it's just not going to happen.
Like I said, it's a long season. Maybe they'll learn from this. I still think
a lot of first-year players.
I still think down the road, Butler's going to be a lot better than they have been in the past. I think this was just, like you said, Murphy's Law, whatever could go wrong, went wrong for them in this game. I still think in the long run, they're good. By the end of the season, we were going to be talking about, hey, they're turning the corner. I still believe that. My
biggest surprise, other than Montauk King, was Carson City Brockway. Carson City lose, not so much that Carson City lost to Brockway, but the fact that Carson City lost a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter to Brockway. I mean, usually a Carson City football team goes in, especially playing on their home field, they go into the fourth quarter with a double-digit lead. That's usually
a 14-point lead.
Yeah, you're right. 14. Yeah, my mistake. 14 point.
But that was a little misleading because 2 of Carson City's touchdowns came after miscues by Brockway.
That's true. You're right.
A bobble punt or a low punt snap that the punter fielded with his knee down gave Carson City a 1st and goal at the 5 or before one of the 2, and they punched it in. Then a turn fumble at the 4 or 5, and they punched it in. So two of their touchdowns came on one play, 4 or 5 yard drops. So it was a little misleading, but yeah, the collapse is worrisome for the Gremlins. But again, I still think at the end of the year we're still talking about Carson City being Carson City.
Yeah, certainly hope so. Anyway, so Mike goes 9-1 on his week 0 picks. Derek, I believe you won 7-3. I've been up the rear at 5-5, so I'm going to 4-game hole right off the bat here to start the season. So
it's a long season.
It is a long season. It is a long season.
You can bounce back.
That's right. So any other thoughts on week 0 before we move on here?
Marsh's defense. I didn't think Marsh was going to win that game. So number one, they go down to West Mifflin, they win the game, but they go up against an offense that had Parrish Parker returning after he rushed for 884 yards last year, almost 10 yards a carry. And granted, West Mifflin's an offense that they don't throw the ball that much. You know what they're going to do. They're going to turn around and hand the ball off. But to hold that team to just 6 points, Marsh is led by 6'6", 280-pound Michael Carmody.
Yep.
That's a great foundation for any defense to build itself around. And I was impressed by Marsh's defense. So it's going to get tougher this week. They got a tough move team.
Yeah, the Mars defense dismembered the Titans.
They did, yeah. You like that headline, too, didn't you?
Dismembered the Titans.
That was Mike's headline, by the way, if anyone saw it about where he goes. Mike's headline all the way. What surprised, I shouldn't say surprised me about the March game, Garrett Ranke is our outstanding running back. Productive in terms of yardage, but correct me if I'm wrong here, Derek. Didn't he lose 3 fumbles in that game?
I think he did, yeah.
That's something Scott Hunter can't be happy about, is losing 3 fumbles.
Tyler Kolakowski actually scored their only touchdown in that game on a 1-yard run. Marsh won the game 7-6. But no, to me, that's an aberration. Garrett Ranke's a veteran. This is the 3rd straight year that he's going to be a prime player in the backfield for Marsh. And I think he might not have 3 fumbles the rest of the season after 3 in 1 game. I feel pretty confident.
Yeah, I think he'll correct that. Eisenhower and that coaching staff and Garrett Ranke, they're going to correct that. I would be surprised if they put the ball on the ground another 3 times the rest of the season.
I know this wasn't a local game, but I've got to bring this game up. I know you guys know about this game. Brookville defeated Bradford 69-60 in a crazy District 9 football game. I don't know if you guys saw the numbers put up by Jack Krug, the sophomore quarterback for Brookville that night. 30 of 50 passing, 555 yards, 8 touchdowns. That's a school record. He also carried 14 times for 138 yards. Just an incredible night. And the reason I bring this game up was just a little bit about the kind of history. Krug broke the touchdown pass record that was previously 6, set by Dick Valley back in 1968 against Monotone.
Wow.
I don't know if you guys knew that. That was 50 years ago. So that record stood for 50 years. So just had to bring that game up, just one of those.
Those 2 teams play in basketball this winter, and they will not put up that. pretty close.
It's not as well as that Meadville Du Bois game from a couple years ago. 107.
Oh, you're right. That's wasn't quite that crazy.
So I don't get that impressed anymore by 69-60 scores. So that's a pretty high bar, 107-82.
Play some defense.
Exactly. Well, let's move forward then. Before we get into this week's games, a couple of the topics we want to cover here. One of them being a little twist in the throat, you guys. A little over/under game we're gonna play. I got 3 categories. You guys don't know what they are. I'm gonna hit you with them and see what your thoughts are. But category number 1. Butler, a lot of people know, has only thrown 1 touchdown pass in the last 2 seasons. But this year they're running not a spread offense exactly, but they're throwing the ball much more than the past few years. Over under this year for Butler touchdown passes 8. There's 9 games left. Over under 8 touchdown passes for the season for Butler. Mike, we'll start with you.
I'm going to go over.
You gonna go?
Yeah, I think your offense is going to be a lot more diversified this year, and I think once that offense kind of gets on the same page and they start getting some rhythm with the quarterback and the receivers, I think they're gonna get 10. I'm gonna say 10 touchdown passes.
Derek, over under.
I'd say over 2. As Mike said, I mean they've got a new system in place. They're going to they got their feet wet last week against North Hills. The further they go into the season, the more comfortable they get with that system. And again, it's not like 8 touchdown passes is a lot. I mean, Butler's got 10 games.
Okay, so 8 in 1 game. So there you go.
I say Butler gets at least 9.
Plus, I can say this too: that the North Hills game, Butler had some plays there in the pass game that their receivers dropped 3 or 4 passes that right there. Again, these are first-year players that are out there. I agree with you guys. I think they're going to straighten up. I think they're going to surprise some people in the passing game this year. I predict over also with the 8 touchdown
How many do you
passes.
think they'll have? I said 10.
I'd say
9 there.
10 or 11. I think they're probably right around double figures. Yeah. Okay. Category number 2: Butler County running backs, 1,000-yard rushers, over or under 3. Derek, we'll start with you on this one.
Okay. You're putting me on the spot.
Right, that's the intent.
I'm
It's a surprise question.
going to go over right off the bat. I think Ranky, as long as he stays healthy, 1,000 yards. Caleb Kammer up at Slippery Rock, and Cody Wise. How about Cody Wise?
Yeah, he had big
160 yards. So right there, that's
Biggest
3. And heck, we'll throw in kid from Matt Goodland.
He would have 100 yards.
Ran for 102 yards in the first half last week. So I'll go over. I'll say at least 4.
Mike,
I'm gonna go over 2. I do stats every year. We always have at least 5 or 6 that get close to 1,000 or go over 1,000. Don't forget the quarterbacks. We have a couple of quarterbacks who can run. Gabe Watson at Seneca Valley, Zach Rocco at North Catholic, Chance Nagy. Maybe he gets loose a few times at Monotol, so we might have 6, 7, 8.
I think some of these kids are going to come close, but not quite hit it. Like I think they're going to go 900, not 1,000. I think it's going to be right at 3. So I'm going to right on the level. I'm going to go push. Last category, kind of a fun one. Scoop last week, 7-3, correct? Scoop, of course, making picks, and every Thursday in the Butler Eagle, you can see Scoop's picks for the coming week. Scoop, over or under victories this year, 100. Over or under?
Under. He's always under 100. Every year he sets a goal for 100. Every year he falls a little short.
He comes close, though.
He comes close. Yeah, he comes close, but I don't think he's going to get to 100. 90 would have been better over under, I think, because I think he's going to be in the 90s, maybe low upper 80s, because I don't know. This could be hard predicting some of these games this year. We already saw in week 1, of course, for me, I was but you guys were a little bit shaky. Scoop was shaky again, so maybe he gets to 90.
But to me, 7-3 for the first week for Scoop is not bad.
Actually, it is pretty good for him. Last year he started really slow.
I think it's the Scoop's year. I say Scoop cracks 100 this year.
Okay.
Derek, what do you think?
He had a really good year last year. He went, I think.
Well, he had a good finish.
He had a great finish.
He had a great finish, but he had a
so beat weeks.
But he had a so-so start.
I'll say 95.
I think he gets there.
I say
I
think
think
it's to 96.
What helps Scoop is if we get a lot of teams make the playoffs, because that's more games to pick. So
Good point.
A lot of
Good
it
point
comes
by
down to
you.
how many teams we have make the playoffs and how far they go to the postseason.
And unfortunately, I don't think this is the year we're going to get a whole slew of teams winning a lot of playoff games this year. Unfortunately, I think we're a little bit of a transition year. Maybe next year he gets to 100, but I don't think this year he gets to 100.
Well, if the trend from week 1 holds, you guys are right, don't be wrong. So, but we'll see how things go.
Right.
Let's go with let's change the subject.
Of course, about change.
All right, our football preview tablet comes out this week in the Butler Eagle. If readers look forward, if they haven't already seen it, 56-page tabloid, all the schedules, the previews, there's some features, rosters, everything's in there. And Derek, you have an interesting article in that tabloid on Jono Powell, former Sherbrooke High School quarterback. What, from 10 years ago?
10 years.
And what is he the last or only quarterback?
Only last and
only quarterback to
First
win
and
the scoring trophy. Derek, when you look at that fact, and you interviewed Powell, I believe you interviewed Clyde Conti, his high school coach back in the days. What are your thoughts on a quarterback winning this trophy and what it took for him to win it back then?
Well, number one, he was a great athlete. Number two, you have to have an offense that is going to have you can have a great athlete at quarterback, but if the team throws the ball 30 times a game, he's not going to be scoring many rushing touchdowns. They had an offense, an option offense, where Jono Powell was going to be getting well over half the carries in that offense. So he took advantage of that. I think he scored 17 touchdowns in the regular season, ended the season with 102 points, and that won the trophy. But Clyde Conti and this is 10 years after the fact, you just can't say enough good things about Jono Powell. To Clyde Conti, Jono Powell was like the epitome of what a high school football player should be. He was tough, obviously athletic, and Clyde told me, he said that I made his day by calling him up and asking him questions about Jono Powell. He still thinks the world.
My favorite quote for Clyde Conti about Jono Powell, he's used this several times. He used it in Derek's in this story too. He said, to beat Jono Powell, you have to tear his heart out, and then it's only a 50-50 chance. That's his favorite quote about Jono Powell. I think that sums up Clyde Conti and it sums up Jono Powell perfectly. That's just the kind of relationship they had. They were like they're beyond on the same page. That's why their offense clicked. When Jono was a quarterback. That's why he was able to win the scoring trophy, because Jono was an extension of Clyde County on the field. There was no separation between the two. They both thought the same. They were seamless. That's why that offense clicked. That's why Jono had such a big year. That's why Super Rock nearly upset Wilmington, who went on to win the state championship in the District 10 championship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mike, you saw Jono Powell play a number of times. You covered Super Rock back then. What, in your view, what made him the outstanding player?
He was tough. This toughness. He played with two separated shoulders, one on his throwing shoulder and one on his non-throwing shoulder, back-to-back years. He just went about his business. He went out. He was elusive. He was gutty. He was really an underrated passer. They didn't throw a whole lot in that offense, but when they did throw, he was on target. This is guttiness, and this is football knowledge. And like I said before, the fact that he and Clyde were so simpatico, so on the same page, that's what made him so good. And that's what probably makes Jono a really successful high school coach these days too.
5'8", 165
Yeah.
pounds. He was not a big kid,
But he was
got
pound for pound the toughest high school kid I've ever covered.
But now the question is, does another quarterback ever win this trophy? I don't know. If that happens, to me, it'd be awfully hard for a quarterback to win this.
I think if there is one currently playing right now, it might be Zach Rockwell, but he throws the ball a lot.
That's what I'm saying. That's what makes it so hard. That's what makes it so
I don't
hard.
think anyone, to my knowledge, I don't think any quarterback has even really gotten close to winning it since Jono Powell.
The only one that I can see, and I'm not saying he's there now, but I think that with Knox triple option offense, if they get him to the point where their quarterback is a leading rusher, could happen there in one of these years.
It's going to take an offense like that. It's going to take an option run heavy offense.
Right.
And high school football has kind of gotten away from that. It's gotten more spread,
Absolutely.
more passing. So I think it's going to be even harder for a quarterback to win this.
And it's not just a question, as you guys alluded to, it's not just a question of having a great athletic quarterback. We've got Zach Rocco at North Carolina. Gabe Lawson's a heck of an athlete in center field. Austin Romanchek down at
That's
Freeport.
another good name.
Anthony Kaminsky.
Anthony Kaminsky. We've got a lot of good quarterbacks. It's just you have to be in an offense where the quarterback's going to get a lot, not throwing opportunities, because you don't get credit for throwing a touchdown. You get credit for scoring.
Exactly. You get a chance they get Molotov too.
Yeah.
So, got a feel. Well, looking ahead, we're on the subject of the Eagle scoring trophy, and I know we've only played 1 week of football, guys, but any early favorites emerging as to who may capture the Eagle scoring trophy this year? Michael, start with you.
Oh man, this is more wide open than I think any year I can remember for a scoring trophy. There's literally a dozen people who can win this thing. My preseason pick was Garrett Ranke, but he didn't score a touchdown last week. He had a bunch of yards, but didn't score a touchdown. I'm still going to stick to that. I still think Ranke finds a way to win this thing.
Derek, what are your thoughts on
I got
the scoring
two
trophy?
guys. There's a bunch of players that could win it, but I'm going to narrow it down to two. I'm going to go with Garrett Ranke at Mars. Obviously, if he stays healthy, and we sure hope the kid does, because last year he had an injury early in the junior season. If he stays healthy, he certainly has a shot. But I'm going to throw Caleb Kamler out there.
That's what I was thinking about, actually. Yeah.
2 touchdowns last week, got up to a good start up General McLean.
And I think he's going to be their prime back when they get close, when they get inside the 10-yard line. He's going to get the ball.
Right.
And I think Garrett Ranke is certainly highly capable of winning this trophy. But my question is Mars going to score enough?
Yeah,
that's
my question too.
Yeah, are they going to score enough?
Yeah, especially in that section. I think they're going to be a very defensive-oriented team. They're going to be playing a lot of those 7-6 games this year, I think. So that might limit Ranke's ability to get into the end zone.
And some running back could still emerge at a place like Corning City, which usually does rack up a lot of
Hunter Jones
points.
had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he did. Someone like Hunter Jones could come out in the pack too. So yeah. I agree with you, Mike. I think it's wide open. I think Garrett Ranke is probably the top back in the county, but again, is Mars going to score enough points overall for him to win the trophy? Time will tell. Week 1. It seems odd calling it week 1 when they've already played week games, but it's called week 1. Let's look at some of the matchups. We'll start out Butler at Baldwin. Tough start for the Golden Tornado. Mike, you alluded to that earlier. 42-7 loss at North Hills. They were down 42-0 at halftime. North Hills put themselves in the entire second half. Tyler Brennan just chewed them up 4 touchdowns at 83 yard rushing in the first half. they're facing a Baldwin team that is coming off a 1-8 season, but returns 9 starters on both sides of the ball. How do you see Butler at Baldwin?
Well, this will be. I thought last week was going to be competitive. This week should be competitive. Should be more competitive. But again, Butler on the road. Too many question marks still with Butler. I don't know how soon they're going to get that offense clicking. Maybe they get it clicking in this game, but I think Baldwin wins this week or 17-16.
Derek, what are your thoughts?
Baldwin, as you alluded to last year, 1-8. They were under the direction of a first-year coach in Morgan Cooley, and they played a lot of young players. A lot of young
players. Yeah.
Those players now have that year of experience under their belt, and I got to think that on both sides of the ball they feel more comfortable this year. Got off to a good start last week with a win over Fox Chapel, 34-7. I'm kind of like Mike here. I think this game is going to be more competitive, but I like Baldwin playing at home, coming off a win. I like them 29-14 over Butler.
I've actually already talked to the Baldwin coach. I talked to him this morning here, and he's concerned about Butler's size. He said, yeah, they did blow out Fox Chapel, but he said Fox Chapel had a relatively small line. He sees the size of Butler's line. He says Butler's going to have a huge advantage in that regard. Of course, a lot of that could be coach speak. I mean, this Baldwin team has a lot of speed. I'm talking a lot of 4'5", 40 type of kids on their team. They've got one at quarterback. They got one at running back. They've got a couple at wide receiver. That's going to cause trouble for Butler. I picked Baldwin to win this game. I'm going to say 28-10 is my score. Looking Seneca Valley, impressive opening week win over McDowell at home. Now they hit the road and they get Central Catholic down at the Wolverine at Woodland Hills of all places. Derek, we'll start with you on this one. You follow Seneca Valley closely. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
Coach Ron Bushley told me in summer camp here just a few weeks ago how much improvement their quarterback Gabe Lawson made from the start of the season last year to the end, and he carried that over into this first game. 12 of 14 passing for Gabe Lawson, who's now a junior, 188 yards, 3 touchdowns. They're going to go up against a defense that's much tougher this week. I mean, Gabe Lawson's a very good quarterback. It's just going to be a different animal with Central Catholic. You think Central teams in the past, this is like the typical Central team. A quarterback who is not going to put up big numbers, but he's very efficient, a really good defense, and a running game where even in a close game, 7 or 8 guys are going to get the ball. And that's what happened last week when Central Catholic beat Cathedral Prep's 28-game winning streak. They beat them, I think it was 24-20, 24-21. So this is a different animal Seneca Valley's going to be going up against Central's defense. I like Seneca to keep it close, but for the most part, I like Central Catholic to win 31-20.
Yeah, Central Catholic, another thing they're always known for are sizable and athletic lines on both sides of the football. I think they're going to get Seneca in trouble. I picked Central Catholic, but I agree with you. I think Seneca will keep it relatively close. I picked 27-14 Central Catholic.
Gabe Lawson, I think it's going to have a huge year. Got to a great start. He played well in the last year, but Central. This is a tough matchup for anybody.
Sure.
Let alone for Seneca. But that being said, Seneca, I think, will give them a game. Make it difficult. It's not going to be an easy night for either team, especially for Central. I think Seneca's going to. I want to pick Seneca. I just have a feeling that Seneca's going to pull off an upset. I just can't do it. So I'm going to go 28-26.
Ooh, tight game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. This is going to be one of the games we're going to be talking about next week about things that surprise us from week 1.
Knox travels to Blackhawk. The Knights coming off a rough loss down at Hampton, I believe, 28-8. I believe was the final score there. And they go to Blackhawk, which is under a new head coach in Zach Hayward in his first year as coach of Blackhawk. Blackhawk coming off a 2-7 season last year, but an impressive 21-7 win over Central Valley in their first game. And Blackhawk, 8 starters back on offense, 9 back on defense. They've got a senior running back, Kenny Gawley, who last year had 1,000 yards from scrimmage in just 7 games. I think Blackhawks turning the program around. I see him winning at home over Knock. But I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I'm going to say 20-13. Blackhawk beats Knock. Derek, what are your thoughts on this?
I covered Knock last week, and their running game was impressed me. Between the running back Matt Goodland and the quarterback Chase Mullen, they combined for 192 yards rushing. Their drives just stalled. They only actually scored on one drive, and their defense, who's starting a lot of young kids, gave up a lot of plays to Hampton, both in the passing game and the running game. I'll be honest with you, I didn't know exactly what Blackhawk had coming back, but you beat Central Valley 21-7. I mean, Central Valley's always got a solid program. And they beat them 21-7 last week, Blackhawk. So this game's on the road for Knock. I think it might take them a few more weeks to get their defense straightened out. And I'm going to go with Blackhawk in this one, 28-14.
And like I said, Mike, Blackhawk, they've struggled in the last couple of years, but now they have a new coach and a lot of starters back. What do you think?
I have one rule when I make picks every week. Whatever Derek picks Knock, I go with the opposite.
There you go.
So I'm going with Knock.
You're going with Knock
this week. Like Derek said, they move
The
the ball.
anti-Pyda pick.
They move the ball. They have a running game. They can chew up clock and they move the ball. If they can punch in a few of those, I think their defense is good enough to slow down Blackhawk. It's going to come down to the wire. I think Knox going to find a way to win it. So just have a gut feeling. 21-19.
I'll say this about this game, because I went out to Blackhawk last year when they played Mars. Derek's covering the game this year. You will eat well that night. Trust me. You will eat well in the Blackhawk press box. Trust me now. Moon is at Mars. Battle of the Stars, I guess. Derek, Moon at Mars. This should be an excellent game. My feeling is this could be one of the top games of the weekend. What are your thoughts on Moon at Mars?
Very well could be a defensive struggle, which is what Mars played last week down at West Mifflin. But Moon beat Montour last week 32-6. Okay, and Moon gave up 33 rushing yards on. 33 attempts for Montour on the ground, 10 rushing yards.
Wow.
So obviously Mars' strength is the running game.
Yeah.
It's like they're going right into the teeth of Moon's defense.
The old irresistible object against the immovable force.
The teeth of the tiger, so to speak. Obviously, this game's at Mars, so that plays for the planet's advantage. But man, I'm impressed by that first week win over Montour for Moon. I got to go with 21-7 here. Second straight week, Mars scored 7 points. Only this week they lose.
I think this is going to come down to a game of will. I mean, it's going to be a trenches game all the way. But I like Mars at home. I think Mars can grind out a win here. I'm going to go with Mars 14-13.
The difference in this game is Mars' defense. Mars' front defensive line and those young linebackers. They're going to give Moon all they can handle. It's going to be another low-scoring game. Garrett Rankin's not going to fumble 3 times again. He's going to find his way
Wouldn't think so,
a couple
right.
times. So I say 14-6.
Mars. All right. North Catholic, impressive win last week. I'll you have the scores up. Forget their score. North Catholic won big last week.
I think it was 49-6, I believe.
Yeah,
They scored 49.
They blew away Albert.
49-12.
49-12. Yeah, they blew away Albert Gallatin last week. That's what it was. They're on the road this week. Yeah, they're going down to Borough. Mike, we'll start with you on this one. North Catholic looks like they could be the top team in the county this year.
They are the top team.
Yeah, what are your thoughts?
They're a machine.
Yeah.
They got stars and speed galore on offense. Their defense is good. I don't see anyone really giving them much of a game in this section. Maybe Freeport. That could be a good one. But this one, North Catholic's going to roll. I'm going to say 42-7.
Wow. Yeah, I like North Catholic. I like the combination of passing game with Zach Rocco. They also have running backs. That school always finds running backs, and they've got running backs again this year. They've got a solid line. They have a strong defense. I don't give Borough much of a chance at all. I'm going to say North Catholic wins this one 38-12.
One running back we didn't talk about earlier when we were talking about running backs possibly up in the scoring trivia. Cam Branch last week, over 100 yards for North Catholic, 2 touchdowns. And Rocco, and they didn't need him passing the ball much last week. I think he threw for 116 yards. You know, in a game when they need his arm to come up big, it's going to come up big. I don't think it's going to be this week, though, because they're playing a Borough team. Borough seems to be pretty down. I don't think it's going to be much of a game. Trojans winning 33-8.
Yeah, Branches are converted wide receiver as running back. He's obviously adjusting well to that position, and I think Rocco is going to go for like 200 some yards, maybe 300 this week because he threw for 2,000 last year. And just a law of averages means he's going to have a big week coming off of a 116-yard week that they really need him. I think they're going to throw the ball.
He's pretty impressive. Is he junior this year?
Junior.
Yeah, he's pretty impressive. I gotta say that. That. One team that did not play in week 0 last week is Freeport, and the Yellow Jackets open the season this Friday night at home to Derry area. Derry is coming off they are two-time league champions, and they're from their section. They were 9-2 a year ago. They returned about half their starting lineup, a couple of 3-year starters at the skill positions. Derek, we'll start with you on this one. Derry at Freeport. What do you think?
Derry is one team that Freeport coach John Gaylott was worried about coming into the season. Out of all the teams in the conference, they were one of the teams bringing the most experience back. Derry did beat Latrobe last week, which I'm not sure exactly how much stock you put in that. Latrobe's been a down program for years. But this is my surprise pick of the week. I would think if you're putting odds on this game, Freeport would be the underdog. Derry's a very strong team. Freeport, though, playing at home. Austin Romanchek, Connor Sellinger ready to go to the Larry Zonka of the Freeport football team. I think they surprised some people here and beat Derry in a tough game, 17-14.
Actually, Connor Sellinger is another guy who could sneak into the trophy race series at down. Remember, we left Freeport out because they played last week. Yeah, I'm looking at Derry Freeport. I think it's tough when one team is opening the season against a team that's already got a game under their belt. I think Derry's going to use that to their advantage. I picked Derry to win a close game, a very close game, 17-14.
Yeah, I think I agree with you completely. I think Freeport, it's always hard when you're opening the season against a team that's already played. There's just inherently a disadvantage there. Freeport's going to maybe start out slow. I think they'll come on strong here and it'll be okay. But I think Derry's going to get a lead early and going to milk it the rest of the game. I think Derry's going to win 24-20.
Remember, I was only 5-5 last week. You should only half agree with me. Don't agree with me. You don't want to do that.
Well, that can
all right. Kearney City, the Gremlins smarting from, as we mentioned earlier, losing that fourth quarter lead last week. They had out to Punxsutawney, which was blown out by Clarion 40-6 last week. I'll start with this game. I think Kearney City bounces back at the expense of the Chucks. I think Kearney City rolls in this game. I think they get a big road win. I'm going to say Kearney City wins 31-14. Mike, let's go to you next.
Yeah, I think Kearney City is going to bounce back. There were some good things last week. They didn't move the ball consistently, but there was a couple. You can see some flashes. You can see they have some good backs that no one's known yet because they're young. That are going to end up being known at the end of the year. Their defense I was impressed with, especially the first 3 quarters. They ran around, they hit, they were aggressive. So I think Kearney City's going to roll in this one, 41-8.
Yeah, they've got a lot of first-year starters. I think Kearney City is going to be one of those teams that gets better as each week goes on. Derek, your thoughts on Kearney City at Punxsutawney?
It's tough to get a true read on Punxsutawney just because they got blown out last week by Clarion, which there's a lot of teams that are going to fall to Clarion by lopsided scores. But I just can't pick Kearney City to start season 0-2. It's just tough.
They did that last year, though.
They did. But I think Kearney City goes out on the road. Obviously, they're playing this game's on grass.
Yep.
I think that is going to be a factor. They're used to playing, their home games are on turf. But I'm going to pick Kearney City in this one, 24-20, close game.
Okay. Clarion. Clarion, we just mentioned them. They're the team that blew out Punxsutawney last week. They head over to Montauk, a game Mr. Kilroy will be covering on Friday night. The Warriors, we've already touched upon it. A fantastic opening game win for them up at Kane last week. Cody Wise, 15 carries, 160 yards last week. Bizarre end to that game. Montauk ends up holding on. But Mike, they got a different animal here in this Clarion team.
This is another big test for Montauk to see where they're at. Again, it's going to be a tough night for Montauk. Clarion is just good from top to bottom. Montauk, I think, they're going to keep it fairly close, I believe. I do think they have the talent to play with Clarion, but I think Clarion's going to wear them down. So I see Clarion winning 34-21.
Yeah, Stan Minich for Clarion, a big game last week against in their win last week over Punxsutawney, 172 yards and 3 touchdowns. I think Clarion just has too much for Montauk. But you know what? I don't know what the weather forecast is, but if it's raining, is it going to be Clarion? I was going to say, if it's raining at Montauk, it's a game changer at that place.
I'm really surprised Montauk sort of doesn't down the field like Friday morning. Oops, our sprinkler system broke and now it's all wet.
I picked Clarion in this game. I think Montauk is going to have a tough time holding them down. I say Clarion wins 28-20. I think Montauk will score on them, but Clarion's going to score too much. Derek, your thoughts?
Clarion's used to play on that fast track up at the university for their home games, and if it is bad weather, obviously it's
a game changer at that field.
That would, even the score, so to speak, as far as each team's chances. But coming off a really good win at Kane, and I sat in this same chair last week and talked about how much Kane, like what a 30 game home winning streak, whatever. And Montauk goes up to Kane and wins. So I feel like I need to give kudos to Montauk, which I did, but Clarion's a different end. Clarion's Clarion. 27-17 Bobcats.
All right.
They're a different animal. They're a Bobcat.
Sheffield come to Union at East Valley. I think Union's hosting this game. I'm not sure which field it's at, to be honest. But Sheffield coming to town. Union at East Valley. Tough loss last week. They had it handed to them pretty good by Clarion Limestone, I believe, 40-0. I think that score was. And Austin Newcomb for CL returned the opening kickoff in that game, 85 yards for a touchdown. All downhill for Union at East Valley from there. It's going to take them a while, I think, to get it going. To be honest, I'm not exactly sure what Sheffield's got. And so it might be more competitive this week. But I'm going to go with Sheffield to win this game 20-12. Derek, let's go with you.
Both programs are struggling. Both got whacked last week. Sheffield's now lost 11 straight games dating back to last year. They didn't win it all last year. Look, I think this is a game where if Union AC is going to get off the schneid and just get in the winning column and try to get some momentum going, it's going to come in a game like this. I don't think they're not going to beat a CL like they played last week. Yeah. It's going to have to. Their first one here is going to have to come against a team that might be a little bit down. So I'm going with the Falcon Knights. All right, 25-14.
Yeah, to me, this is a coin flip, like you guys said. Two struggling programs. They're both going to be very hungry because this is going to be a very competitive game. And I don't know about you guys, but every time I hear Sheffield, I think of the nanny. Remember that show, Mr. Sheffield?
Oh yeah.
Every time I think of that, I think of the nanny.
I have it on DVD actually.
So, but I'm going to go with Union AC Valley. I think they're going to eke one out. I think they're going to be hungry. Both teams, like I said, both teams are going to be hungry. But I think Union AC Valley, they're going to come out fired up after getting shut out last week. I think they're going to put some points on the board. I think this is going to be a really good game. This might be one of the best games of the week. It's both these teams are evenly matched and they're hungry and they want to get that first win, get that out of the way. I think Union's going to win 34-28.
I think of Gary Sheffield.
Gary
Sheffield. That's what I think of. But anyway. Reynolds heading to Slippery Rock. The Rockets we'll start with you on this one. An impressive win for the Rockets up at General McLean last week. We talked about Caleb Cameron scored a couple touchdowns. They won a gritty, close game on the road. I would think that would bode well for them this week.
I'm on the Rockets bandwagon. I think this is year 2 or 4 in 7 years back to back under Coach Munderus, but playoff wins in each of those years, including a surprise win in his first year in the playoffs. I think this is the year they take that next step, and I think they're going to continue to roll this week. Caleb Cameron has been a guy that was even mentioned 2 years ago when he was a sophomore as a potential stud running back, and I think he's finally reaching that potential. Yep. I think he's going to have a huge year. The 2 quarterbacks they have, Vito Pelosi and Jake Schaefer, I think they've really developed. I think they're going to have a good system there with those two. I think they're going to blow the Reynolds out.
Wow.
I think they're going to roll 35-14. I think this is Super Rock's year where they're going to make some big noise in District 10.
Derek, your thoughts? Reynolds and Slippery.
Make some more room on that bandwagon because I'm.
I
I really like the direction that Slippery Rock's headed with Coach Larry Wonder. What is he now? Like his third year. Reynolds scored a lot of points last week. They put up 44 and went over Union City. But Slippery Rock's defense is, I'm sure, stronger than Union City.
Yeah.
And as Mike said, Slippery Rock's got some weapons in place on offense. I'd like Slippery Rock to win this game by 2 scores. I'm going to say 22-6, but I think that defense is going to shine. Last week they had, Mike, 6 turnovers?
Yeah.
Who's that? Reynolds or
Slippery Rock.
They returned one for a touchdown, 95-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown. So the defense is very opportunistic, very staunch. They've always run around and hit people. I don't see that changing again this year. And I think their offense, which has kind of struggled the last few years, is really going to rise to the occasion this year.
Well, reinforce the tires on that debate, because I'm jumping up on top of that thing also. Slippery Rock wins this game. I'm going to say 28-13. Leaves us down to one game remaining. Apollo Ridge at Summit Academy. This is the Knights' home debut. They had it stuck to them pretty good last week by Western Beaver, another Saturday game. Now they're at home this Saturday against a pretty solid program in Apollo Ridge. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, they lost to Summit did last week. They lost to Western Beaver 30-0. It's such a tough job for Steve Shear every year because other programs have kids coming back and they know what to expect. Pretty much every year, it's like starting from scratch for Steve Shear. And this is obviously one team that you can pretty much bank every single year is going to be better come late October than they are right now. Apollo Ridge, not the program they were just a few years ago when they had Trey Tipton, who committed to Pitt, but still good enough to beat Summit, which really struggled last week. I like Apollo Ridge here 37-15.
Yeah, I think the offense for Summit Academy is going to take a while to come together. It usually does just by the very nature of the program. They always have a lot of first-year players there. I'm going to go with Apollo Ridge to win, and I think, again, scoring points will be a problem for Summit Academy. I think Apollo Ridge win 28-6.
It's going to be a long year for Summit Academy this year, I think. I think they have the athletes. I just don't think they have the line, so offensive defensive line, which is always a problem at Summit Academy. Because you can get skill guys who can learn an offensive play, but if you don't have the guys up front, playing the offensive and defensive line is a lot about technique. It's a lot about experience, a lot about gelling with other guys. So these guys every year come in, very little football experience. They don't know each other. It takes them a long time to gel. So the beginning of the seasons are often a nightmare for Summit. This is going to be another nightmare. I think Apollo Ridge wins 44-12.
Well, that takes care of our picks for week 1. We always close this program by looking at another sport. So this week, how about the Knock girls tennis team? Not only are they off to a 3-0 start, but they did something that you just rarely see in high school tennis, boys or girls for that matter. They shut out Springdale last week, winning all 5 matches 6-0, 6-0. That is extremely hard to do.
Well, you look at last year really was a banner year for Knock girls tennis. They win. Laura Greb won a Whitwell singles title, and who did she beat in the semifinals to get to the finals? Her teammate, Brooke Bauer.
That's right.
Both of those girls are back, and they finished second in the Whitwell team championship. They lost to Swickley Academy. So obviously a good start for Knock girls tennis, and it looks like it's going to be another exciting year for that program.
Mike, I think the Knock girls tennis team, they bear watching not only with those top 2 singles players Derek mentioned, but their team overall. They're very strong in doubles. They're solid at number 3 singles. This is a team that I think bears watching as a team all the way through the state this year.
Yeah, to win a Whitfield title, you can't just have 2 really good tennis players and a couple average ones, an average one, and then a couple average doubles. So you have to have a good lineup. Number 1 singles, number 2 singles, number 3 singles, and 2 doubles tandems, and that's what Knock has. I think they're even better this year than they were last year. I think you're right. I think Knock girls tennis has the potential to win the state title this year because I think they're that deep. Plus, they have the 2 great players at the top, the 2 great singles players, Laura Greb leading that list. I think she's going to have a big year. I think this is going to be one of those things where not tennis. This is going to be their year.
Yeah, just to put into perspective what this team accomplished against Springdale, winning all 5 matches 6-0, 6-0. They did not drop one game. That means they won 60 games and lost 0 in that match. When you stop to think about that, that's how dominant this team can be.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who you're playing. I mean, even if you are playing a weak team, that's
You can have one game, you can lose
yeah,
a couple
that speaks
games.
for itself.
Yeah.
That speaks for itself.
Well, that takes care of upon further review for week 1. Our second edition, but it's week 1. We're going to be screwed up that way the entire year because of week 0, but that's just how it is. We'll catch you all here next week.